Right then, welcome back to the channel, and if you're a subscriber, this 1.9 TDI Polo might look very familiar. That's because a few months ago this came in for our GTB turbo kit, upgraded injectors, Seat Sport intercooler and hard pipe kit. We also fitted some BC coilovers, an uprated Sachs SRE clutch kit, and we ended up leaving this at 251 horsepower, which for most people would be more than enough, but for this customer, he was left wanting more. So fast forward to now, we've got it back in the workshop for even more upgrades and hopefully even more power. So let's have a look what we're going to be fitting today. So we'll start with the big one. So this is custom ported head, so it's all been CNC machined. As you can see, this has got the golf ball effect dimples in there. If you're not sure why we've got the dimples in there, we'll try and put some kind of diagram or illustration up showing the effect the dimples have. It's very similar to a golf ball and why a golf ball travels through the air further than a ball with no dimples at all. So that's the science behind it anyway. But all you need to know is more air inside the engine equals more power. This has already been machined for the larger valves, so we've got larger inlet and exhaust valves for that. Uprated valve springs. We've got a race camshaft. So on the dyno last time it was here, this was probably one of the main restrictions as to why we couldn't gain more power, because the turbo, the 2260, is capable of around 300 horsepower. The injectors should be good for high 200, 300 horsepower as well, so we were literally limited by airflow. So these two together should give us a nice increase. Obviously, with the extra power, we also want to be able to put it down on the road better. So we've got a quaife differential for the front, all the bolts and bearings and everything that you need to install that. This car has got Nankang AR1 tyres on it, so the last time I took it out on the road test, in the last video, wasn't actually that bad for grip. Once you've got the tyres up to temperature on a dry day anyway, it's not too bad. On a wet day, you'd definitely be wheel spinning in most gears. Obviously we've got gaskets, whatever else. This is also having some gearbox strengthening mods. So we've got the 4th gear support that bolts onto the housing, and basically you can put a bolt in there and put pressure on the shaft. We've got a short shifter, the case support. I think there's some steel forks in there as well. So these are not necessarily required, but we have seen failures on the O2M gearbox running this kind of power, especially if you're going to be giving it quite a bit of a boost. So we'll let Ruben crack on this morning. We'll film the process, and then obviously we'll be getting it on the dyno to see what power we can get with the new mods, and then we'll do a road test again like we normally do. So stay with us, let's find out what it does. Right, it is dyno time for the Polo. So as you've already seen with all the B-roll footage, all the hardware is now fitted. We've got the figure that we need to beat. So that is previously what it did on the dyno, 251 and 360 foot-pound of torque. So that's the figure we're aiming to beat with the new hardware. It's probably worth noting that the customer's not after any sort of set power figure on this build. The main reason he wants more power is so he can beat his son in an E46 M3, which I think with the weight difference and the torque of this, if we can get close to 300 horsepower, 280, 300-ish, I think he'll have it in the bag, which yeah, should be plenty of fun on the road when it's all done. So we'll let the tuners finish strapping this on and work the magic to see what power can do. So the software on the Polo is now done, but before we have a look at the final figures, just wanted to mention that we have done some switchable maps on this. So this car, before it came to us, got retrofitted with cruise control, which now means we can put 3 different stages of tune on the ECU and switch between them. So just by a sequence, flicking the button on the cruise control, we can now put this in 3 different stages of tunes, which we've done one for track, we've done one for daily, and then we've done one which is quite smoky, but if he's still struggling to beat his son on the other tunes, he can put it on map number 3, and yeah, in theory, should be able to dust his son's E46 M3. So let's have a look at what figures it's actually done. So there we are, the 3 stages of tune. So as I mentioned, this is the track tune, which means you can drive it pretty hard around track for quite a while and it shouldn't get hot. The daily tune, so when it left us on 251, I think it was last time it came in, similar state of tune. Obviously we've got more power now because of the hardware. We're now on 273, and then like I said, if he's struggling to beat his son in his M3, we've got a top secret tune on there, 295.2 horsepower, which should do the job nicely. But really nice graphs all the way across. With the balls out tune, what we're on, just over about 425 pounds-foot of torque. On the green daily tune, we're about 385. And then on the track tune, we are at about 380, there or thereabouts. But yeah, really nice flat curve all the way across the rev range, which means whatever mode he's got it in, it should drive pretty nice. So pretty happy with the power figures on the dyno, but as with most videos, there's just one more thing left to do, and that's get it on the road and see what it drives like. Right. Time to go out in the Polo. So before we get started, we need to pick what mode we're going to be driving on first. So because we've got switchable maps, foot on the clutch, cruise control on, and then we can choose between the 3 different modes. So we've got daily mode, we've got balls out, I want to beat my son's M3 mode, and then we've got track mode. So I think we'll start on the track mode, so just short of 265 horsepower on this mode, and then rather than go in the middle, we'll just do the 2 extremes. So we'll start with the track mode, and then we'll change to the balls out mode. We'll get an extra 30 odd horsepower, so we're up at 295 horsepower then, and see what the difference is between the 2 modes. Let's see what it's like. So I mentioned on the last video that we did on this Polo, before all the headwork and everything, this is a very clean example for a car that's knocking on 20-year-old. It's quite a nice place to be in here still. So it was a little bit damp this morning, it's dried out now. We're on Nankang AR1 tyres, so they are road legal, but they are also track focused. So not ideal in the wet, but should be all right now. 264 horsepower, again, for the Polo platform, is pretty plenty compared to most modern diesels or even modern hatchbacks. This is quite light, so they still feel pretty nimble, these. So the only thing that lets this platform down in terms of like a track car is the fact that they've got a fixed rear beam on the back. If the Polo platform had independent rear suspension, then this would be a very, very good platform to build a race car or a track car on. I mean, they're still good, don't get me wrong. We've had an Ibiza track car ourselves, and they are good, but that is one thing that would make this platform that little bit better. So, less waffling, see what it's all about. Pulls well, it does, as to be expected at this power. I think I'm referring to this as the lowest horsepower mode we've got here, but still 265 horsepower, 264 horsepower in these. Definitely not slow, definitely not slow. But I know you haven't come here to see what it's like on the lowest horsepower tune. Let's find out what it's like on the highest horsepower tune. So I believe we can do this while we're driving. So foot on the clutch, right, and then swap it to balls out, and then that's it, and then we should be good. Right, so yeah, looks like we're in the right tune. A little bit more smoke coming out of the back. So let's see what 295 horsepower feels like. Straight away, night and day difference. So we're now at 410, 415 pounds-feet. And it feels good. You can feel the extra 30 horsepower straight away. The tyres are doing pretty well. The road's definitely dried out, so it's gripping pretty well. See what she's like in second. Oh, she's lighting them up now. A little bit smokier out the back, but not horrendous. It's not like the Europeans are doing. Like I said, you won't want to be running this tune on track for prolonged periods of time. EGTs are going to get pretty hot, whereas on the track tune, should be able to thrash it round for quite a while before getting it pretty hot. Probably benefit from an oil cooler and stuff like that if he's going to be tracking it on a regular basis. But yeah, feels really good, this. And then I probably glossed over it a little bit, but we have still got the mode in the middle, which is the daily spec tune. So in between, 275 horsepower, just over 400 foot-pound of torque, pounds-feet of torque. So you get a little bit of smoke. EGTs are more than acceptable for a few bypass pulls. So yeah, pretty sure the customer is going to be over the moon with this, especially now versus the last time he picked it up. Got an extra 45 horsepower, and trust me, you can tell. So we'll get it back to the workshop for the final checks. Customer's going to be collecting later on today. Hope you've liked this video. If you have, click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.